Welcome back to another episode of Shadow of the Apple. Today we will be recapping these miserable fucking New York Mets and a fucking pathetic joke of a fucking baseball team and this pathetic series that they played against the Cubs, as well as the Yankees sweeping the Royals as well. So once again, my name is Dylan. This is Ryan. Ryan, um, I don't even know where you start. I guess we could start with the Mets. There's definitely the Mets are on a fucking historic 11 game losing streak. It's their worst losing streak I think since 2004. That was the last time they had a 9 game losing streak, and I think the last time they had a 12 game losing streak was 2002. So they they haven't been this fucking disgusting in a while. Um, I mean, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's the worst team money could buy. Like this is $370 million of straight bullshit, bro. Like I don't understand how her payroll is made of 370 million, and and this is our lineup, bro. Like we got Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos underachieving, even though Mark Vientos had a monster home run. Our only support on Sunday was MJ Melendez, who we signed on a 1 year deal right before WBC started. Um, they, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Kodai Senga was fucking awful on Friday, man. This guy was ass. I'm gonna pull up his stats just so I can show you how bad he is. And I'm gonna close my door because I have people. My dad was working, so I don't want to. I want the full authenticity. I can't even speak because of how annoyed I am because of this team. So give me a second.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about. Much more to talk about with the Mets than there is with the Yankees right now.
And I think that
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't kept up that much with baseball, but specifically the Mets in general the last few weeks. So I can't even tell you, like, point out names of who's underperforming, overperforming, or anything. I just see the headlines. And I can just tell how bad it is.
well, I could tell you that this team cannot hit point blank. Period. Yeah, I mean, they're averaging like 3 runs a game. It feels like. They score 1 run on Sunday. Saturday was just as pitiful and boring. Um, just like it's just straight up like point blank that they cannot hit the baseball, and they just when you think that they're gonna finally scratch out a win and they finally can do it. Michael Conforto, out of all people, former Met legend, hits a double off of Devin Williams um, to tie the game, and Tyrone Taylor doesn't field the ball well enough to where um, can prevent a run. And then the offense does literally nothing in the top of the 10th. A wild pitch from Craig Kimbrell to move the runner to the third. And then Nico Horner, who was batting 370 when actually no, not 370. He was batting like 320. He's batting 320. You could have walked him, and you know who would have been up next? Michael Bush, and he has a way lower average than Nico Horner. Um, I'll pull up the stats right now because I really didn't prepare for this because I just am so annoyed. Like I didn't even want to prepare. That's just how annoyed I am. I'm just giving you the full raw like vent of just this horrible. And I talked about it on the episode, yes, on the last episode that you weren't on, but it was more low key just because I'm more like tired of it and anything. This team, I was literally laughing. I was laughing when Devin Williams gave up that double to Michael Conforto because I'm just like I'm in shock at how many ways this team could possibly lose. Uh, and this obviously I mean I talked about the Dodgers series a little bit. This is way more about the Cubs series. Um, Michael Bush is batting 164. You could have had Michael Bush 164 with the potential to get a double play, to save the chance to win a game. But you give up. I don't think many didn't even realize that a pop fly ends the game. Like, does he not? Okay, okay. And then I'm 99% sure because I was listening to the fans today. that Steve Gelbs actually asked him, SNY sideline reporter, asked about why he didn't walk Nico Horner. So I'm gonna get the quote right now. I'm gonna play it out and see.
Horner to set up the double play. In that situation,
Can you hear it?
Especially with
It's kind of low, but I mean you
put
can
him
hear
on
it
first
good enough.
base, they're gonna take second base there. So there's a contact situation there, but then they got some of their best hitters coming up after that too. So
Okay, he said in that situation, especially with Horner, you put him at first base, they're gonna take second base there, and then they have their best hitters coming up next, so that's why you pitch to him. Michael Busch was up next.
Yeah, it's a little confusing, especially with
What
the
the?
situation you said they were in.
Yeah, they had they had one out, I think, a runner on third. So I don't even know what to say. Like I'm just so confused. I'm so lost because there really isn't any like. I guess the big pinpoint is that everyone in the lineup is pretty much underperforming. Everybody. This team, for whatever reason, can't hit the ball in the air. Like I don't know. I've never seen a Mets team hit so many ground balls in my life, bro. And you know what, man? Like the Cubs pitching was pretty solid, and they did a solid job. But like they could barely hit the ball, and they had so many, and they had chances to score more runs on Sunday too. Um, I don't, I don't even know what you say. I mean, and the pitching's been pretty much good, but if the pitching isn't, they got no chance. If the pitching isn't like spotless, stainless, um, like they have no chance. They have no chance to win. I literally, and look at this was Kodai Senga on April 17th. A blowout loss. He had 3.1 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, 6 hits allowed, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, and then the 2 homers. 0-3 on the season. And ERA, I'm gonna just fact check myself, but he has at least an ERA over 7 because I think he had a 7.1 or 8.1 ERA. Going into this game against the Cubs. So right now, Kodai Senga has an 8.95 ERA. So he is absolutely booty cheeks. And I think this time, like 2023 feels like a billion years ago. This, like, I don't even know, man. Like, he's a bum. He's a bum. He's a bum, bro. Like, I don't even know, bro. I really wanted to give Kodai Senga a chance. Oh no, he's had injuries, and that's why he hasn't been. When he comes back from injuries, not well. What's the excuse this year, dude? Why do we always, whenever we sign Japanese players, the Mets always sign the Japanese players from Timu, bro? I can't believe how every time they sign these guys, most of them do not pan out well. Like everyone is just pathetic. Jorge Polanco, pathetic. He's on the IR now. He needed to. He was definitely playing hurt. There isn't really much to be said on like why. It's just because it's like everyone that has a bat can't hit. Um, like Mendy just like it confuses me more and more as days go on. It gets harder and harder to defend him. And David Stearns, I mean, you know how I feel about David Stearns. I really feel like we haven't even gotten to the podcast about how much I really do not like David Stearns from the jump. Like I just genuinely despise this guy from the beginning. I haven't really truly gotten to David Stearns just yet. I think he's just a he just thinks this kid thinks he's so smart. Oh, I went to an Ivy League school. I'm so cool. I'm so smart. Look at me. I build the Brewers off of scraps. You're trying to do the same shit you did with the Brewers, but with more money, and it's not working out. Like, and there's so much players that are in dead money too. Like they're still paying Frank. Like I said in the Dodgers episode that they're still paying Frankie Montas. They're still like. They're not paying Nemo anymore. They're still paying a chunk of Simeon's contract was pretty big, so they're still paying Simeon. Simeon's getting paid. Like the thing about the Mets is that all these contracts, they're not they're not long-term contracts. A lot of these guys were already on contracts that they traded for, and they're paying a lot. Like Marcus Simeon, I know Marcus Simeon. Let's see how much he gets paid a year. Ryan, if you could help me find other Mets players and how much they get paid per year, I'd appreciate that too. Um, he was on under a 7-year, 175 million contract, so he was getting paid 26 million. So, he's still got 3 more years on this contract. That's 26 million a year. I know Nimmo's contract was off the books. I'm not sure if McNeil they're still paying a portion of. But obviously Bichette gets paid pretty high annually. Sean Manaea, a guy that, is on the bullpen, who's playing in the bullpen, who really, I feel like I barely even see when I watch the Met games, because I really didn't watch all of the Met games like in their entireties this weekend, but I saw every game, and I saw every and at least Saturday, Sunday I saw the last 2 days. After the 5th inning on Friday, I was like, I can't do this team, just like I can't do it. And I'm gonna be real with you, it's hard because I know I have to watch them because it's part of the podcast, because if I'm not watching them, it's not the podcast is not going to be as good because you don't know as much about the team. But it's really hard to watch them, and I don't really want to watch them. After Friday, I was like, I can't watch this team. But the next day, well, here I am, like a dumbass, watching this baseball team.
Yeah.
So it's really if you want my honest opinion on why this team is complete booty cheeks, David Stearns, first and foremost. This guy thinks he's so smart, getting rid of core pieces. And you know what? Sure, Alonso hasn't been that great this year for the Orioles. Edwin Diaz hasn't been that great for the Dodgers. McNeil's been pretty damn good. McNeil has always been pretty damn good. I'll never understand the hate for Jeff McNeil. Yeah, sure, he's had slumps. But overall, as a consistent player, I will always defend Jeff McNeil with my heart, bro. Jeff McNeil, I still have his jersey in my closet. Jeff McNeil is still a solid out. He's still a solid player who can play almost any position. He's always been one of the most underrated players in baseball. And Brandon Nimmo is batting like .330 on the year. We traded away one of our franchise players. Because, well, it's not really confirmed. I'm not going to bring that part up. But we traded literally one of our a guy who loves to be a Met, really resembles the Mets franchise, for a guy who literally cannot hit the baseball anymore. The glove is still there, but he can't hit the baseball no more. Why did we trade him for a washed up Marcus Simeon? I hated that trade from the second. I don't even know what to really truly pinpoint it, but I guess David Stearns for sure for thinking building this team, and I don't know, what was he cooking? What was he cooking, man? And you know what? When they started to add pieces, when they started adding Peralta and Bichette, I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe they could be decent. But there was a lot of ifs. There's a lot of ifs. Was Marcus Simeon going to come back and play like his 2023 self? Probably not. Was Luis Robert has been pretty solid, but he's definitely has cooled down a little bit. Peralta is what I kind of expected, but Met fans are pissed off because, I don't even know what you were expecting. He's not in a bona fide ace, for example. And David Peterson didn't even actually start because David Peterson's been this bad as a starter that they actually had Tobias Myers start the game and then have David Peterson pitch 3 innings. I don't know. It really comes down to David Stearns building this horrible team, thinking that they needed a complete over adjustment when you really didn't. There was players that definitely they shouldn't have brought back, but completely changing almost the entire team to bring out this slop is just incredible. That's why I hated those moves when they got rid of those core guys from the beginning. Not because, part of it is because, there's guys that you're attached to. But, like, you just don't know. You don't know if it's going to work. And that's the problem with David Stearns. Every year, almost every year, he signs these guys to, like, 1, 2, 3, like, 3-year contracts. And they're all gambles. Most of them are gambles. I don't get that. This is not Milwaukee where you can just do that and you can develop guys. We don't have a farm system like Milwaukee. I don't understand what is the issue with him. And then you're going to have the owner being like, oh, why are the ticket prices why is nobody buying tickets? The team is fucking dog shit. That's why. Like, it really goes down to that. Like, Citi Field will be a fucking ghost town by May, bro. I don't even know. Like, I texted you and I texted Declan if you guys even want to go to the Subway Series. So I don't know if even I want to, because it's like, why am I going to waste $140 on this fucking pathetic baseball team? And, like, I'm not, like, this is a rant because I already was in a bad mood going into this podcast. I actually was playing Super Mario Galaxy, and I'm playing it on the Dolphin emulator, right? And for whatever reason, it's really hard to move Mario while you're trying to aim, and like the aim thing is really sensitive, so sometimes it's hard to hit the boss. I'm on the Bowser Jr. fight, and because of the controls and because of the emulator, sometimes it's really hard to do some fights, and that's a perfect example. I keep getting hit even though like I'm trying to aim. So I was already in a bad mood going into this. I'm not even actually in a bad mood about the Mets, because yesterday when they lost, I kind of just didn't care because I don't have the attachment of last year. Last year I hated the team because the team just had no fight in them. The pitchers were unlikable because none of them could go past the fourth inning except Nolan McLean, who I love, by the way. I'm glad he's still playing well. This team, I don't have the attachment because all these guys are new. So it's like I don't really care. Like, I don't really care about this Mets team because they like last year they aren't even likable, but this year I don't even have the attachment to the players. So this team has now lost 11 in a row. I think now they do have the worst record in baseball. I think. If you could fact check me on that, I'm gonna fact check myself, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna be one of the.
Yeah, I want to say something.
Yeah,
While you can check that, I looked something else up before I wanted to say. We were talking about Stearns and talking about Simeon specifically before. Simeon's getting paid $26 million this year, which is $1 million less than Lindor, which I find insane.
yeah, and I mean Simeon, he got that contract after coming off a career year, right? In
Yeah,
2021 with the Blue Jays. But the Mets and the Royals, I think, are tied for the worst records in baseball. Two teams that were in the World Series when they played each other. So how fitting that we are just 7-15 like them. So they're in last place. They're I think 2.5 games behind the Phillies, eight games behind the Braves. They're pathetic. Like, they're a pathetic baseball team, and this podcast is going to be a long, long season. And at that point, it's going to be a Yankee podcast because there's not going to be shit to talk about with this fucking baseball team, dude. I mean, I saw a Yankee fan watching watching the Mets lose and walk off fashion at Yankee Stadium and cheering, which I thought was kind of funny. I'm not even.
yeah, I saw that. I did see that video. I thought it was pretty corny, but
It's very
I
corny. It is
mean,
corny, but it is pretty funny because the team is like they're pathetic, you know. Like we first of
yeah,
all, like I saw the Montreal Expos said that at least we're not the Mets. They don't even exist anymore. Like I don't. It's hard being a Mets fan. It's hard being a Jets fan, as I'm wearing this Jets shirt. Um, at least I have the Knicks. There was I can't even say I had WrestleMania because WrestleMania was pretty bad, too. But it was a tough weekend. It's been a tough last 2 weeks. As a Mets fan, just point blank forward. If you, I think, I know I sound a little weird for defending Mendoza now. I think, but eventually, like I can only defend Mendoza for so long, something's got to change. I don't know what, but I think you got to make some kind of change. I do like Carlos Mendoza. I really don't think it's entirely his fault. Stearns built the team, so that's the person to blame. And I just think he's been a fraud for a while. He wasn't. He didn't even want Juan Soto, for being real, and they've been pretty ass since Juan Soto got hurt. But even then, when Juan Soto comes back, they're like, is it even gonna matter? Is there gonna be like fucking like, they're gonna be like 10+ games under 500? What, like, why?
Yeah, well, before we transition into the Yankees, I also want to mention some other underperforming players and their how much they're getting paid because I'm just looking at this and it's pretty crazy. Uh, Senga's getting 14 million, Devin Williams getting 16 million, Luke Weaver getting 11 million. I just find those numbers quite interesting. I mean, I know the Mets have a lot of money to work with, but when you just look at these guys' numbers and the record of the team, it is pretty questionable to look
It's
at.
one of the worst teams money can buy, and I saw a tweet saying that the Mets are a perfect example to argue against a salary cap because we, I talked about it in the other episode that we tried to become like Steve Cohen from when he became the owner of the team was trying to replicate what the Dodgers did, and we're just like a cheap, shitty Timu knockoff of them in every way, shape, or form. I mean, we can't even make the playoffs on a consistent basis. Like 2024 was an anomaly. Like we weren't even supposed to make the playoffs that year. It's pretty pathetic, point blank, for this Mets team. They're playing Minnesota next week. I don't even know, man. Like I couldn't. There's actually a bet on FanDuel about when the Mets will next win a game, so you could put those bets out. Luke Weaver actually had a good performance yesterday, but he's been pretty underwhelming too. All these guys that he signs, like not all of them. There's been good signings. Majority of them have underachieved, and it's ridiculous. Like you can't just fucking throw money and expect your team to be fucking good, man. Like there's more to it. Why do you think the fucking Brewers are good every year? Why do you think the Rays, well, obviously not until now, but they were good for a while because they had a great system. Like it's just pathetic. This Mets team is just not like they're not likable. You don't feel any kind like I don't feel any kind of I don't feel any kind of anger or sadness. It's just like I don't care. So, I mean, that's my little rant. This team just had a horrible series. I mean, they couldn't hit the fucking baseball, and when they had chances to win, they blew it every single way in shape or form. So, yeah, I don't know if you have any opinions or questions about the Mets, man.
No, not much. I guess the only question would be, do you think that they can win at least one against Minnesota, or no?
Um, I mean, I think they'll have a chance with McClain because he's a great pitcher and he's their ace. So I think they'll always have a chance with him. Um, I think, and the thing about this is like it's you have to get back to where you were quickly. Like you can't like let's just say the Mets go like 5-4 the next the next 9 games. It's not good enough. They need to be like perfect. That's the problem. Like you can't if you can't put yourself in a predicament where you already are behind and you're already 5,000 steps back. So you gotta take 10,000 steps forward. So like, and maybe this team just really isn't that fucking good. I mean, I kind of okay. Look, when this season started, when we did that first episode, the one that we lost in the Riverside Abyss, I said that like I don't really have any expectations going into them because I really don't know what to expect. I don't really know the team, the players, but and that's the thing. Like I really I still thought that this team could be good, and what's at least I guess okay about it is that now they could definitely trade some guys. These guys are all like 2 years ago, like 2024. A lot of these guys were on 1-2 year deals, 3 year deals, so they could trade a lot of these guys. Freddie Peralta and Clay Holmes were names that I saw that they could trade away. So, I mean, it really feels like a waste of time though, because you trade Freddie Peralta and you give up a big prospect. You give up Sprout, who they called up last year, thinking that he could be a good up and coming pitcher, and you get rid of Jet Williams. So it just feels like a big waste of time. Like this whole project really has just felt like a waste of time. It really has.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess I don't even know. Like I guess hopefully we'll do something against Minnesota. We're back home. I guess whatever, man.
One question: is there a estimated return for Soto, or is it still just within the few weeks that they said?
He's been running and he's been batting again, so I think he's expected to come back in the next week. They're gonna get him back soon. But like I said, like it really might not matter. If when Soto comes back, they're already like fucking like 7 and like, but like I mean I hope not, but they're gonna be like 7. They might be like 7-17, 7-18. Like who knows? Like they might be too like there might be too much of a hole for them to even like get back to where they were. They're gonna have to be really really perfect. Something's got to change. Something's got to change. The hitting coach, the manager. Like I couldn't even tell you. Like I'm very lost on what could be changed because the players are there. They're just not performing, dude. It's really weird.
Yeah, I was rough patch like this. I mean, this isn't usually teams that go through something this long, but when they do, um, it's tough and it hurts the spirits of the fans and the team, but especially this early. You keep mentioning the team looks so different compared to the past. Fans didn't really know what to expect, and then this is how the year starts. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, it feels a lot like the second half of 2025, where they just are pathetic. And I mean, they hit it's like the opposite where they hit really. Last year they had Soto had a great year, Lindor had a great year, Alonso had a great year, Nimmo had a great year, but the rest of the lineup was bad. Now they tried to spread out the lineup, and it really hasn't worked. I guess just being real with you, it really hasn't worked. The bullpen is pretty bad too. I mean, Devin Williams. I mean, I don't even know what you want me to say about Devin Williams and Weaver. Like they just haven't been good. And I wasn't asking for them to be like fucking Edwin Diaz. Like I need you to get the job done. And like honestly, I'm not even too surprised that he blew it looking back, because I didn't even realize that it was his first time pitching, and like it was only his second time pitching that week. He hadn't pitched pretty much the whole week. He really was like, he wasn't fresh. He was fresh, but he wasn't like, he hadn't been in a rhythm. That's what happens when pitchers don't pitch and they get in a game. It's hard for them to like get back in it. You feel me? So that the bullpen's bad. They get rid of Garcia and bring in Craig Kimbrell, and I mean, what do you expect? He's fucking 39, 38 years old. He's not the Craig Kimbrell from 2018. He's not Red Sox Craig Kimbrell. Like it's it's a bunch of like question marks too. Like a lot of this team has a lot of just question marks, and that's a huge problem. I mean, there were a lot of question marks going to the season. Like, could Bichette be good? Is Luis Robert going to be even close to what he could? Like, just there's so many questions. Like there's a lot of like just a lot of 50-50s on this Mets team. So I don't even know. Like I don't know how I do it. Um, there's a lot of things that I go through in life, and they suck. But being a Mets fan probably sucks the most, because like at least I could ignore the Jets. The Jets actually, being a Jets fan isn't that bad when you just don't watch the team. But the Mets play every day, and the Mets are because they're such a dumb organization half the time. They're always talking to town, so you can't really even avoid them. So that's been my
Yeah.
almost 20-30 minute rant
I
about
mean,
the
they're
Mets,
going through a
man.
historical losing streak. Maybe they can get on a historical winning streak at some point. It's crazy to think that it's only April though, and these emotions are already coming out for Mets fans.
Yeah, that's what's insane about it. Yeah, that it's just it's looking grim because like they haven't shown any life. And it's like, are you going to show any life in May? Or are you going to show any life in June? But yeah, it is still early. Sure, it is still early. There's a lot of fucking games left. So, but it's like it's hard for me to care because this team isn't showing me anything, dude. Nothing. So, I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore at this point. The
Yeah,
Yankees played well, right? They swept the
the Yankees
Royals.
were also going through a real rough patch, a few rough series, but they brought it back, swept the Royals at home. The Royals, they're a solid team, but this year they're heavily underperforming. So that doesn't seem too accomplishing to have swept them. Just should have been done either way. But there's not that much to talk about like there is with the Mets. But I'll just go ahead and break down the games a little bit. The first game was close, and Ryan
Yeah.
McMahon had his first big hit of the year, two-run home run to put them up 4-2 in the eighth. He came in on defense, and he just happened to find himself in a spot. Cam Slitler started that one on 6 innings. Only gave up 1 run. Uh, the second game of the series, they won 13-4. That was more of a blowout. A bunch of home runs were hit. They hit three in 1 inning. I forget who started that game for the Royals, but yeah, he didn't have a
Damn.
he had a good first and second inning. And I was sitting there, I'm like, this is gonna be one of those rough, slow games. We're not gonna score late. Not gonna score until late, but they took a quick lead in the third. Uh, yeah, and Will Warren started that one. It was
Yeah.
just domination. He went 7 innings with 11 strikeouts and 0 walks. That was um that was good to see from him because he's supposed to take a step up this year, but he has not done that until the start. In the third game, same thing. They won 7-0. That was led by home runs again. Judge, Grisham, Rice. I'm going to point out Ben Rice for this series. He had a home run in every game, but I don't know. It wasn't anything too crazy that happened. Most of the talk of the town is definitely the Mets right now.
What? How do you think the rain affected
I don't
Sunday's
even know.
game
I'm not gonna lie, I
against the
wasn't watching it,
Royals?
so I can't even tell you. I know it took a few hours to start, but I've got some other stuff going on right now. I'm not really paying attention to baseball too much.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Of course.
obviously, we're here. The show
Yeah,
must
I'm
go
glad to be
on.
back.
We're glad to have you back. Um, I think if the Mets continue losing, I think we should definitely bring a guest
Yeah,
to
I think I have someone in my
give more
mind too
input
who would
and
work
give
perfectly
more
for that.
or just express more frustration because I am not like I'm not the only one that feels this way. Like a mix of like not caring but also being kind of like what the fuck is this team, bro? Like I've seen a lot of shitty teams in my life from all the sports teams I support. I've seen a lot of shitty Met teams. But those Mets teams like that were shitty back then, like they were never like built well. Like you kind of knew they weren't going to be that good. Like they were cheap teams. These guys were like they just weren't good teams, point blank. But these teams are supposed to be good. I think that's what frustrates me the most, is that these teams are like they're like David Stearns and Steve Cohen like sell these teams like they're supposed to be good. Like expect winning. That's the problem. You can't, you can't, man. Like you can't have this. This is like it's just toxic. It really is. And the season. I really hope not, because the podcast would just be. It's gonna be really. It's gonna be dry because the point of this podcast is to talk about both teams. But if the team fucking sucks, it's gonna be really. There will be stuff to talk about, but after a certain point, like let's just say we get to the deadline and they trade all their guys, and the season's punted. Like there really isn't anything to talk about. Like the Yankees, it'll be like majorly a Yankees podcast,
Yeah.
and that's not the point of this podcast. This podcast is to talk about both teams, you know. So I really hope for my sake and your sake that they figure it out, because it's just not as fun.
Yeah, for us it's not that fun.
I want to talk about winning baseball. I really
but
do.
I feel like from a reviewer perspective, 30-minute rant about how abysmal the Mets have been so far, it could be more entertaining than hearing about the Yankees.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. I mean, but I think the Yankee fans want to hear it too, just because the Yankees are playing better. You know, they had the you split with the Angels, and then now you sweep the Royals, and I mean the Royals. I mean they look pretty bad. Just from looking at the scores and the highlights and just overall in general. I think my only question is just what do you think could take the Yankees to the next level? Because they're playing solid, but I feel like you're talking about the Yankees like they aren't like great. So what do you think could take the Yankees to that next level that they were, just maybe 2 years ago, like when they were
right now.
a World Series?
I mean, there's not much to complain about. Just those last two series just brought spirits down a lot, but I feel like they just got to keep playing well, obviously. I think a lot of it comes with this team is they have to get more depth from the starters. I feel like the rotation's very solid, especially once Cole and Rodon are back. It's going to be probably the best in the league as long as everyone stays healthy. So I think just longer depth so that the bullpen doesn't have to come in, because I think that's definitely the biggest weakness of this team is the bullpen beyond like Bednar, Doval, Hill. There's just not too much reliance there. So I feel like that, and then once the deadline comes around, definitely hope to improve on that. And
Yeah, they definitely. The pitching is a lot better than advertised for sure. Like Ryan Weathers, not giving up any runs on Sunday is pretty impressive. Like, what can you tell me about him? Because there's a lot of guys that
him
like big
Warren,
names that have definitely stepped up for the Yankees.
And Luis Gil has stepped into the rotation too. He's had, I think, 2 starts. From the 3 of them, you expect they were going to be at the end of the rotation, if not in the bullpen, which is probably where some of them will end up once Cole and Rodon are back. But Luis Gil hasn't been the best in his 2 starts, but Warren and Weathers, who've been here since opening day in that 4-man rotation, they've been pretty solid. I mean, I would say they're better than average 4 or 5 starters in the league. I mean, there's not much really to say. I mean, like, they haven't had any terrible starts besides Warren, with his 11 strikeouts and 0 walk performance this week. They haven't had anything great.
Does he have do they have like any pitches that has made them stand out and that's made them been solid? Like, because obviously Ryan Weathers,
yeah, I honestly could not tell you.
A zero
I did not
on Sunday.
Pay too much attention to that. I know Will Warren was working on stuff this year because he was on the Yankees last year and a little bit the year before. So I know he was working on stuff. I can't tell you exactly what. I just remember seeing stuff, and I was hoping he would take a step up because I liked him a lot as a prospect.
Yeah, so yeah, for sure. That's good analysis. And then they'll be playing first series with their famous rivals, the Boston Red Sox, who haven't been playing well. They played at least a little bit better, I guess, but first series of the year against the most famous rivalry in baseball. So they'll have Luis Hill versus Connolly Early. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Max Fried versus Ranger Suarez, who has kind of been a bust for them. Cam Schlittler and then Cam Schlittler versus Brian Bello. So, I mean, would you have any intake in preview of that series?
When you look at the way the Red Sox are playing, you'd hope for a sweep, but this is the Yankees entering Fenway Park. You never know what's going to happen there. This is going to be Cam Schlittler's first start on the road against Boston. Only a second start against Boston, the first being the wild card series last year. There's already a lot of talk online going on. Cam Slitler had an interview in the New York Post, I believe. He mentioned he was getting death threats already from Fenway fans. So that's
Yes,
I
I did see
believe
that.
he
Wasn't
definitely grew
he?
up in the
Didn't he
Boston
grow up a
area.
Red
I
Sox
believe
fan? Or
he
am I
was a Red
crazy?
Sox fan. So yeah, and that was a lot of there's a lot of talk about that during the wild card series. They were also I'm pretty sure people were in his mom's DMs on Twitter sending her threats. And it was just this whole situation like motivated him even more. We saw what happened.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they're trying this again. It didn't work last time. It just made them look like fools. But they're running it back, and hopefully they're thinking something will be different since it's on their home turf.
Yeah, uh,
Right, of course.
yeah. Every fan base has their bad apples. But I mean, I always like to watch, at least take a peek of Yankees Red Sox, specifically in Fenway, because Fenway is a very, like, I like Fenway Park. Not one of my favorite stadiums that I visited, but I like Fenway Park. I like the vibe that stadium brings. I think it's really cool when you go there. It's like part of the city. Like it's like with Citi Field and Yankee Stadium, you can kind of tell that they built it from the ground up, and like obviously they made areas around it to like for Yankee Stadium and for Citi Field. Fenway Park is literally like part of the city. Like you're just walking
Yeah,
through downtown Boston,
it's
and
like they
like
built
Fenway Park
the
is just
city of
on your
Boston
left, like it's
around
another
Fenway
building.
Park.
So yeah. So I and whenever they do play the Yankees at Fenway Park, there's a decent amount of Yankees fans, so it does make it like a pretty fun game to watch as a neutral viewer. So, um, hopefully both teams win. I need the Mets to win for my sanity, and for pretty much the whole fan base's sanity. Um, at least I have the Knicks. Let's go Knicks. Hopefully we will win. We'll win the chip this year. They're playing the Hawks today, so maybe at least we can agree on that. So I think that does it. This is probably our longest episode, 41 minutes. So
Nope.
I think
Just,
that's it. Ryan, is
if
there
you're a
anything else to
baseball
say
fan,
or
even if
not?
you're listening, you're not a Mets or Yankees fan, you're listening, I would definitely tune into Thursday night game between the Red Sox and the Yankees with Schindler on the mound. It's going to be entertaining. That's all.
Yes, the game actually will be on Fox, so for anybody to see. So, that will do it on the Shadow of the Apple podcast. Once again, Dylan Maltez, Ryan Grameyer. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Mets.